Welcome back again, folks, to another episode. On this episode, we are celebrating fathers. Happy Father's Day, everybody out there, to the fathers who are doing their thing, raising their kids right, being in their kids' lives, the best dad that you can be. Now, this video is going to be slightly different from the Mother's Day video that I put out because, well, my dad has not really been in my life, and so I've never really talked about this too much before. My friend that I go to SakuraCon with, Will Webster, we were talking about our fathers being absent in our life on the trip back from SakuraCon. This is the second time I've talked about not having a father figure or not having my dad in my life. So, first of all, if you are a single parent, kudos to you. And if you are a child of a single parent, while I cannot speak for everybody's situation, as the kid who's growing up and the parent is not in their life, you, for obvious reasons, you wonder if it's something that you did. And so I've thought about before, where is it something that's like, that is there something about me that my dad doesn't like and doesn't want to be around? And so the easiest way to not think about that is to just not think about that. I say to myself, if my dad wants to be in my life, he would be in my life. For whatever reason, he chooses not to, and that's on him. I'm a great person with or without him. I'm going to be a great person with or without him. And so growing up, not having that father figure in my life, I looked to other guys who were older than me and were like leaders. So, of course, I had my older brothers to look up to, and that's great. But because they were kids themselves, you're still kind of looking for a leader. And I remember I had bad experiences with older, well, I guess with one older male in my life. I had a teacher in the 5th grade who wasn't very nice. My friend Darren was kind of a squirrely guy, and and one time he had taken Darren outside into the hallway and was like kind of really fed up with Darren being Darren, and he had grabbed Darren's mouth and closed it and was trying to like get him to stop talking. So like, you know, when you do something like this. And so I remember thinking to myself, that is not right, and teachers shouldn't be doing that. And so I wrote a note to the office, and then I don't know how, I think I left it out or something, but Mr. Comstock found it. And even to this day, like, that was that, what did I say, 4th, 5th grade, you remember traumatic things like that. And so I remember his name and everything. And so didn't have a good experience with like my first male teacher there. And so when you're in that situation and you don't have a father figure, where else are you going to look? But you have TV to look to. So my father figures came from Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Carl Winslow of Family Matters. And so I kind of had an idea of, okay, this is how fathers behave in the household. And so I think that's maybe one reason why I like those shows so much, because I'm able to see and envision how life could be like, and get life lessons, and get the proper way to handle situations from those father figures. Now that I've grown up and I have kids of my own, I'm just basically doing the opposite of what I saw in my dad, and it's kind of very easy, because if he's not really around, I'm just gonna do the opposite of that. So anytime I can, I'm around my kids. If they want to go to the park, I go to the park with them. Even if, like, I come home from work and I'm tired, or I'm aching, whatever, we still do it, because I know there's gonna be a point in my life where my kids don't really care to hang out with me as much, and so I need to soak up what I can with them, and as much as I can with them at this time. And so, in talking about how my dad's not really in my life, a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people might say, well, why don't you reach out to him and try to connect with him, and whatnot? And, like, I feel like I have done that in the past, and he'll say things like, or when he calls, he'll say things like, I'm going to do a better job of communicating and getting in touch, and all that stuff. And it's just like, you hear it enough times and it doesn't really mean anything to you anymore. And like I've said before, well done better than well said. So when people say things to me, it really doesn't mean anything to me. I need to see results. Do you have a track record of saying something and then following through with it? And it's not there. So on the other side of that is, why do I have to be the parent to the child? Wait, why do I have to be the parent to the parent? It seems like the parent should be initiating contact with me. If I'm hanging out at the house and my kid walks in looking super sad, I'm not just gonna let him go to the room and hang out in there. I'm gonna be asking, what's wrong? This is not you. You are normally smiling, you're normally happy. Let me know what's up. While I could reach out, I just got a whole bunch of things. Like, I'm focusing on my kids and whatnot. From what I know, all he does is work. He doesn't have any other kids. There's literally, what, you work 8 hours a day, you sleep 8 hours a day, you have 8 more hours to be contacting me. And if you can't make a 15-minute call within the 8 hours a day, extra 8 hours a day that you have, you want me to do that job for you? So, like, that's kind of the pushback I give when people say, well, why don't you reach out to him? A lot of these relationships, I would think people would get angry. And so I would never, I've maybe been angry with my dad twice in my life. One is like when Anthony was born and I was holding him, I was crying. And I don't know if it was because of the sleep deprivation that I was receiving, just having gone through, like, helping Haley give birth to Anthony. Once Anthony was born, and I was still up and I still hadn't slept, and so all the emotions just came out. And as I was holding him, I was thinking to myself, how can you, as a father, not want to be a part of this? Like, looking down at Anthony, I remember it to the day. Moonlight was kind of shining on his forehead. He was so beautiful. And it's like, how could you not want to be a part of your child's life if you still have that opportunity to? So that was one time when I was upset with him. And another time is, he was asking me for money And because he's family, this is my rule for giving money to family. I'm gonna give it to you if I got it, and it's not a crazy amount, and you pay me back. If you don't pay me back, don't come to me again for money, because I'm not gonna do it. So he came to me for money because he couldn't pay his his utility bill. And this wasn't like our family money that we're doing, like we have to pay bills, like it's not our bill money or anything like that. This is like my personal money. And he came for money, and then I of course gave it to him because, like I said, he's family. But then I thought, my mom, who struggled for most of her adult life to raise 3 kids almost by herself, has never once asked me for money. And this dude, even though he's my dad, is going to come in out of nowhere asking me for money. And you might be saying, shame on you for giving him money. But like I said, family's family. And he did end up paying me back. But how do you do that? Like, how do you not talk to somebody for almost a year, and when you do talk to them, it's not about, hey, how you doing? I hope everything's great. It's about, can you give me some money? I think that I was taken aback, I was kind of in shock a little bit. But, that's just who he is. And I can't fault him for that. Everybody's on their own journey in life. And like I said, I'm going to love him no matter what. If he wants to be in my life, beautiful. Okay? Oh, the other one is, I don't want my kids getting attached to him if he's not going to be there. Because the one thing that hurts me as a parent is when I can't help my kids. Like, if you're a parent for the first time and your kid gets a fever, like, that is a scary time, because that is one thing where, like, you literally can't do anything to help them feel better other than maybe give them a little medicine. But it's really that their body has to get rid of this all by itself. And it's a scary time when you cannot help your kids. Like, that is my single job as a parent. My job is to help my kid no matter what. And so if something's coming along and I can't help them, that's when I get upset. And so if he tries to come into to their life, and they want him to be a part of their life, and then they start going through the same exact emotions that I did. They're like, well, why is grandpa not coming around? He said he was going to call me and he's not calling me. I do not want that to happen, because then I will be super I will be that's when I will get pissed off and get upset with him, when he is starting to affect my kids, because that is the one thing that I try to protect 100% of the time, no matter what. This has been good for me, because, like I said, this is like the second time I've talked about my father. And it just feels good to get stuff out. If you're going through something, talk with somebody. Don't let it don't let it rest inside of you, because it's going to grow. It's going to grow into something that you might not like. So just get it out and be done with it. A quote that I saw a long time ago, and I loved it as soon as I saw it, was, all children deserve a father, but not all fathers deserve their children. And it's just true. I recently read the Selfish Gene by Dawkins or Hawkins, and it outlines bio biologically speaking, why men are not in their child's life within that reading. And while it makes sense biologically, emotionally, it doesn't make sense. And so I understand biologically why guys aren't going to be around as much as their kids want them to, but like if you just spent 2 minutes, just spend some time with your kid. If you're a dad out there and you happen to stumble upon my my video, just call your kids. Try to get in contact with the mom or whoever has your kids. Just reach out. Like I thought of different scenarios. Like I felt like when my mom, I assume my mom wouldn't allow any contact with my dad when I was little, but then I thought to myself, well, you could have written me a letter and then just saved the letter. And then when we got older and connected, you could have said, here's all these letters that I was writing to you because you have never not been on my mind. And that would have meant so much to me. Also are thinking like, man, it's too late. I've been away for like 17 years. He doesn't want, they probably don't want anything to do with me. Let me tell you when it was too late for me. It's not too late. Let me back that up. It's not too late. But my mindset around our relationship changed once I had Anthony. Like once a child was born, and that night where I held him, that was like, how could you do this? So before that, if you are a father and you are away from your kids, and they have not had kids of their own yet, I would say from my circumstance, there's still time. And the whole idea of you not being around would have been squashed. But now that I've had kids and we're still going into this situation where he's not going to be around, I could honestly care less if he's here or not. So I'm just going to be real with you. All right. Okay, so I don't know how much of the actual picture and the text you can see, so I'll just read it for you. His shirt says, "Be the man you wanted your father to be." And right there, it's kind of like, okay, I guess he's already given up, implying that there's no time for him to save the relationship, is what I'm taking from the message. And I can only do better than him with Anthony, but there's no hope for him to do better with me. Right under the picture, he wrote Happy HAPI Father's Day. And then I wrote back to him that first bubble, Happy Father's Day. And then I was thinking to myself, well, let's be real here with what you're sending me. And I elaborated a little bit further by saying it's never too late to be the person you want to be. If you have a goal, you work hard, you struggle, you complete that goal. I love you. And he has yet to respond. Grateful for all the people in my life who have showed me the proper ways to be a father, and I'm appreciative of that. And also within growing up, I've now found good father figures in my life. My wife's dad, Don, is has helped me to see another part of how father figures need to be. My Brazilian Jiu Jitsu instructor, Cody, Professor Houston, he's another father figure because he's got a little girl of his own. And so I'm now surrounded with male father figures who kind of keep me grounded and show me how I should be doing certain things. And even though, like, I don't necessarily ask them for help on how to parent, I'm just kind of taking notes, mental notes. And then also, another guy that I really look up to, I taught or I coached track with him, Jeremy Casio. Really good guy, and great kids, and super grateful that these people have been in my life, so I can see, okay, I had a bad experience here, but that's not how everything needs to be. Let me know in the comments below how you plan to celebrate, or what's a Father's Day tradition that you do with you and your family. And I appreciate you watching, and look for a video tomorrow, because Monday is my typical post date. But we'll be back with you again on Monday. I hope you have a great day, and remember to smile, because you are beautiful.